to Canada's first seafood industry innovation summit. And it is great to be in conversation with people from all Atlantic Canadian provinces. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
So my name is Purdue. I work with the provincial government in Nova Scotia. I work in seafood industry development, and I'm one of the co-organizers of this event.
Okay, well, congratulations on that. That's a heavy lift to get this off the ground.
Yes.
So well done to that. So tell me, what exactly your job is within the government. So you gave me the title, but what exactly are you guys involved in?
So I'm a team of one in a way,
okay.
But supported by a great staff at the provincial government. I work on the ground mainly, going to industry members, going to their facilities, helping them with things like automation, with modernization, with digitization. So whether it's helping with inline process efficiencies, or helping them leverage funding programs and discovering what way they can, use the programs that are available in Nova Scotia, both provincially and federally, to make those improvements to improve the sector in general.
Well, because it's important stuff, right? Because there's a labor crunch, there's no doubt about it. They've got to look at new ways to do business. Automation, innovation in that area is certainly important. But at the end of the day, they're processing and they don't have time to be digging through these government programs.
No.
Hence, that's where you come in.
Yes, so I can cut through a lot of that for them
Right.
to sort of streamline that process, whether it's identifying what a program could be or what a technology could be, the ways to marry the two of those. Because, a lot of, much like the industry, in Atlantic Canada, but in Nova Scotia, it's the largest economic driver, but the team is small. The amount of people who are doing that work, it's a lot of work being done by very few in comparison to the output. And so you're going to places that you have one or two people who are doing everything and doing an incredible job, but they don't have the time necessarily to try to connect those dots. And oftentimes they know exactly what they need. It's just having that piece of the process smoothed out a bit for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it must be really important for you to be at an event like this where you're seeing probably similar challenges across the sector, but also able to bring to the forefront, hey, look, this is what we've seen and this is what we've done. That sharing of best practices must be incredibly important for you.
Yeah, one of the summit themes and sort of one of the big idea that was important when we were creating the idea was collaboration and sort of respecting that we all have similar challenges in the industry, whether it's the government in the industry or core industry in the industry, and sort of using that experience that your neighbor has or working together to find those solutions in order to raise the industry in general.
Right.
So provincially, having that collaboration, talking with our provincial neighbors, but also our physical neighbors, to try to address all of these types of issues so we can improve ourselves. It's not about being competitive necessarily with their neighbor, because if they're doing well, you're doing well.
Right. That rising tide floats
I
all
was trying
boats.
to avoid using that analogy, but
It's a
yes,
great
but
one
it
for
is the
this
perfect
industry,
analogy.
right?
It is.
So the rising tide floats all boats. There's
Yeah.
little doubt about that. Now, artificial intelligence, that digitization of everything that we're doing in this sector. Tell me about that and your lens on that at the moment.
So digitization is the way that I like to sort of blanket cover it all.
Okay.
So within that you have technology that surrounds traceability, food regulatory things, inventory management, and then the advanced sort of nature of AI. And they all have their place. And something that I really try to focus on is, we want things to be innovative. But innovation for different industries, different folks, different issues come in all shapes and sizes. So it's not saying every plant needs AI. Some places just need a decent digital inventory management that then gives them the leverage they need in their business to then input that next technology. It's doing the root cause analysis and using digital technology as a way to be that baseline solution that then sort of finds its way down the supply chain, whether it's a supply chain within a company or globally.
Right.
So that's when it comes to those types of things, when it comes to digitization, as basic as having a good digital inventory management system to record what's in and out so you know the most efficient way to do that, to having AI maybe on a processing line that's showing you inline inefficiencies or showing you people are getting fatigued at this time of day. Why don't we reroute our process and people get that 15-minute break, and then you're improving quality, and that's machine learning and things like that. So it's very vast,
right,
what it can cover.
Yeah, and now of course this sector, not unlike many sectors, there's byproducts in everything that we do. There's value in a lot of the things that sometimes we take for granted. And it's always great when groups of people come together like this and say, hey, this is what we use that for, and that has applications across sector. Tell me about your lens on that at the moment.
So I think when it comes to that collaboration piece that I brought up, byproduct's a big one in my mind for that. So in our industry, we're working with a biomass that's perishable. If it's not alive, it's rotting. Mm-hmm. And we can, a lot of times it's like, oh, well, look at all this material we have, why aren't we doing something with it? Well, again, back to the root cause, do we have enough of it to justify a processing? If you're not talking to your neighbors and not combining your waste, again, whether it's your neighbor down the road or your neighbor in the next province, you need a critical mass to be able to economically, sustainably deal with those byproducts and add value to them, or either maybe you're reducing them and you're trying to take care of it on sort of the other end of things, reduce the amount of waste you have. Or if you have waste, what can you do with it? But those critical pieces of how do you store this perishable biomass? How do you have enough of it to make a sustainable business model? Whose job is it to process it? These processors are busy enough as it is. Like this industry is full of some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life who do innovative things and don't give themselves credit for being innovative, because it's not shiny maybe, but it is innovative. But is it on them to then take this byproduct and then become an expert in that as well? They have to be experts in being a global competitor, in regulations, in certifications, in knowing how a pump works on their floor. All those different things they also need to have those expertise. So I think that collaboration piece between provinces, between neighbors, and identifying who are the key players that are going to support that part of the industry to lift it up.
Laura, you're at the perfect intersection of government, industry, and academia working effectively together. And you're that you're the gel in that whole thing that's making it all happen. You're walking through the plants and you're able to see where you can provide help for those folks, whether it's hey, I know an academic institution that can help you with that problem. The byproduct, if I could use that word, of that is that you're providing students an experience, a true experience that they can learn from, and introducing this sector to that next generation of talent. The connections are amazing. And now you're taking that to the Atlantic level, so out of Nova Scotia, now moving into more of an Atlantic footprint, which is really incredible what you're doing. So you're to be congratulated for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the podcast and telling us all about it. I'm sure there'll be processors in Nova Scotia that I need to speak to Laura because I've got an idea, and they'll be reaching out. So thanks again for being on the show.
It was nice to meet you. Thank you.